And I don't want to be afraid to like do the opposite of what's happening out there. And I just got tired of complaining. I'm like, you know what? I like creating new businesses. And if nothing really happens, at least I tried something.
It's the Health in the Real World podcast. It's time to start the show with Janke as your host. Here to give you everything that you need when it comes to fitness strategies. We keep it simple and easy. It's your roadmap to get healthy. You don't need equipment and you don't need a gym. Just the right strategies to get you fit and trim.
Hello and welcome to Health in the Real World. I'm here today with multiple guests, Darian Parker. Darian, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Chris. Always good to be back with you.
Yeah, it's fantastic having you. You were one of my first podcast guests, definitely over a year ago. And
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, you were probably like number 8, maybe somewhere in there.
Oh,
you were
man.
Pretty close to the beginning. And,
yeah,
we've connected several times since then. And, normally I have a script, but for repeat people, I like to just free flow, and I already know you, and you and I did a second podcast together, your podcast.
Yeah.
And, we've been communicating for that year. So what's been going on with you, and let's get everyone caught up. What do you do and how do you spend your time?
Yeah. So, well, I have a lot of things going on, I feel like, all the time, but my background is in fitness and wellness for the past 21 years now. So a pretty long time. I've been a personal trainer the entire time and a fitness executive. So I own a personal training company and also a spa fitness and recreation consulting management company. I was just on a meeting about that today. And then I recently launched my own social media platform, actually, because
wow.
I really don't like the current version of social media. And I would complain about it all the time, like ridiculous amounts of complaining. Like no one should complain as much as I. And I was like, well, I should just do something about it.
Right.
So I decided it's called FEM or F.EM. It's kind of like a radio station feel to it, but it's very warm, inviting, and kind and holistic. And it's really just about becoming a better person and not having all the negativity associated.
Nice. So F.EM, FEM?
F.EM, but it's fem-community.com. That's the site. And it's very different also because it's most social media is free. I mean, it does cost something. You just don't know it.
Yeah, right. They take your privacy and hack into your bank account.
That's right. They got stuff. So, but ours is actually a paid membership for it. So and you can't actually look inside it or creep on people's profiles. You have to be an actual member in order to be on it. So cool. It's a much more exclusive, but also inclusive environment as well for that. And we believe that when you pay for something, you pay a little more attention to your behavior as well.
I agree. And so is it multimedia? Is it text? Is it audio, video? How do people interact?
All of it.
Nice.
Just like any social media you use that you've been using, throughout the years, whether it's like Meta or Facebook or Twitter and all that stuff. It operates very similarly, except that I wanted the privacy element to be different, that people just couldn't go on there and look at your stuff. It's like, no, they actually have to make the investment to go on there and look on it. But you could do Zoom integrations, courses, everything. And you can do almost anything in there. And we have a podcast space where podcast hosts and guests can meet each other. You can get a mentor or be mentored by people. Charity is a big thing. So percentage of the membership goes to charities for like underrepresented populations and things. So we want to do the good in social media and not get caught up in all the other stuff.
Wow, that's fantastic. That sounds awesome. I got to check that out. Everybody watching, definitely check that out. That sounds very cool. How long has that been going for?
Like 2 weeks.
Be one of the founding members of Dr. Darian Parker's. So sorry, one more time. FEM community.
FEM, yeah. So it's
the
website is just fem-community.com. And there's a nice little landing page. It tells you is a welcome video. That's the other thing we're doing, like a lot of videos. So like, you ever go to like pages and there's like frequently asked questions and it's just pretty dry,
Yeah, always.
We wanted ours to be videos of us, the founders, telling you how to delete your account if you want, how to change your notifications, like make it fun as well. So you're always interacting with people on there in a very, I think, fun and simple way, very transparent, very transparent.
That's awesome. Wow, that
Yep.
sounds
And we're
really
doing a
cool.
7-day trial right now. So it's for free. You can use it for free for 7 days and see if you like it. And for, we're unlike most social media, we're not trying to keep you on there constantly. It's like, listen, you want to spend some time in there? Great. Go and do some other stuff during your day. And if you want to subscribe and if you don't want to pay anymore, good. We'll show you exactly how to get rid of it. I mean, you shouldn't have to like do like Instagram does. When you delete your Instagram, they keep it for a month, basically, to try to tantalize you to go back onto it. That's
Right.
insidious to me.
Yeah,
I don't
that
think that's
that
good
is. It's a
behavior.
little sleazy.
Yeah. So yeah, we're not
So
doing anything like that.
what is the pricing model? Is it monthly? Is it yearly? How does it work?
Monthly and yearly. And I would say it's probably, the yearly, I think it's like 260. And then for the month, it's $26 a month. So, we want serious people on there. We want people who actually want to make really quality relationships with people. And, I put my podcast on there and all, I'm sharing stuff on there. And we want other people to do the same. We want you to have like a really great community. So it's all based off of wellness too. So there's 10 spaces or so, and all the spaces are like, how to become better physically, how to become better socially, emotionally, spiritually, everything in there. So it's really about helping people become better versions of themselves. But we really believe that if you're paying for it, you will act differently for it, and you will
Yeah,
invest more. You won't just be
yeah.
flippant in your comment,
I agree. I think one model of that is LinkedIn, right? That's how you and I met.
Yes,
LinkedIn obviously has a free way to get in, and you can have your
right.
free account, but I think the paid is something like $70 a month or something. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not cheap, right?
not cheap. It's up there. So I think sometimes I remember it being like almost 99 at one point.
It
I don't,
might
I
be,
can't,
yeah.
there's different levels of premium, I
I
believe.
think so. Yeah.
And but they don't apologize about it. And there's plenty of people who are using the premium because they're getting a lot of value out of it.
Sure. And at some point, you'd rather pay. I mean, look how many people do like Netflix and Disney Plus and things like that. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, you're not going to see any commercials. Just pay us a little monthly fee, and you're not going to have
Yeah.
ads every 30 minutes or 15
Yeah.
minutes. Or
Yeah.
we're
We
not going
have a
to
few.
take your
Yeah.
data, right, and sell it to people. And
Right. And we're going to do none of that. We don't do any of that. And we're about giving back. And the great thing too is like, well, we have about 15 people on there right now because we're slowly inviting people. I knew I was coming on here, so I was like, all right, we'll get to Chris coming up, but we're not like,
nice.
oh, big amounts of people telling. We're not advertising it on social media other at all, pretty much. I mean, it's just basically like, hey, we're telling people we know, we want it to grow slowly, but the people that are on, they love it. Our paid members, they're like, man, this is awesome. Everybody's so positive in here. This is nice.
That's great. I always thought that the more closely kind of emulating real life that social media could be, the better. In real
Yeah.
life, you can't just walk into a room and like start calling people names like some people do on social media, right? The trolls. You can't
Yeah.
really get away with that, right? So
No.
I think that's good. It sounds like there's a little bit of accountability built in.
Yes.
We know who you are. You need to pay at the front desk to get through the door,
Yes.
that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And I think that's good. I think it's good that you're not just blasting it out. It's almost like like a secret club in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly like that. And so, I founded it with a colleague of mine, Kara Sandoval, who's in Austin, Texas. And we feel very similar about this. And I said, why don't we do something about it? Like, let's just do
Nice.
something. And so we took about 3 months to come up with it. And it's hosted on Mighty Networks. We love Mighty Networks. They're awesome. And I just love the ability to be able to say, hey, we can have our own platform, but we can create it how we feel it should be. And yeah, I mean, there'll be no trolls. It's a membership. If you try to come troll on there, we will delete your membership.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's it. And it's over.
Yeah.
And it's not going to
Yeah.
allow poor behavior. The world has enough of that. They don't need that on our site.
Yeah, absolutely. So you said it's fitness based. So that's kind of the whole theme of the
Wellness,
platform.
yeah. So yeah, it's really like,
Wellness.
hey, it's a wellness thing. Like you can learn about all the aspects of wellness. So if you want to increase your spirituality, your social wellness, your emotional wellness, you want to nutritional wellness. So we have like different sections. So one of them is like the feel. So you can go on there and you can just talk about your feelings and what's going on in your life, and people will support you. What a novel idea.
I know,
They'll connect with
right?
you,
Nobody's gonna
right?
bash you. Wow,
Yeah,
this
you
is
can learn
awesome.
about
I love it.
spirituality, and we have all the, and we feed it with research articles from reputable organizations. We don't just
Nice.
let fluff go on there and stuff. And we curate it and we make sure that people are getting really good information that is going to feed their soul, that is going to make them feel good. That's the whole thing, is
Yeah,
really
yeah.
lifting people up. There's got to be a space for this.
That sounds great. And I think you're, again, going back to LinkedIn, because it's sort of business oriented, you don't tend to get the political fighting that you get on, say,
No.
like Facebook or something like that. And I imagine this social media platform, same kind of thing. I mean, maybe some people are arguing like, what's better, CrossFit or yoga? But like, honestly, who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
So,
What's the big deal?
all right, what's the big deal? Do them both, right? I
Do
think it's
whatever you
great.
do, or you just like do something to help your body and your mind and your spirit. I think it's just, and we get on there, and I greet every single person who joins. We have people joining weekly. I say, hey man, I'm so glad you're on here, like pushing the positivity, like you're amazing, enjoy it, but don't spend too much time on here. I tell them that,
Right,
don't spend a
right.
ton of time on here. You got other things that you love to do. You shouldn't be spending all your time on social media, you
Well,
know?
I think that's also good. A really good friend of mine is a business. I forgot the exact term, but he's in business. He's a CEO of a company, and he tells me that it's really important that you align incentives. And so when you have, like, say, like you mentioned, Facebook or Instagram,
Yeah,
like they are incentivized, like the more time you spend on their platform, the more money they make. That's their
yeah,
incentive structure, because then they put more ads in front of you, etc.
right.
Whereas you got the payment up front and you're like, hey, we want this to complement your life. We're not going to make
Yeah,
any more or less money off of you if you're on here
no,
8 hours or 1 minute.
exactly
So
right.
it seems like you're a little bit more aligned there, and you, you don't care, how much time they spend. Your incentives are
Yeah.
aligned. That's great.
I don't care. I don't want them to spend a lot of time. I want them to enjoy their life and other things, but I want them to have a space online that they can come and they feel like they're just getting lifted up, and you're around other health and wellness professionals or just people that have this energy of humility and goodness and kindness. And when they go on there, man, it's going to be positive. I know I'm going to see something positive when I go on there. And that I think that's worth money, and I think it's worth your time, a little bit of your time. But I really think it's going to take some time because we've been socialized into this sign up for free environment, and to just
Right,
create a
right,
profile and then be recommended. We don't recommend anything. There's no algorithms.
right, right.
There's no ads. You pay at the door and you control your experience
That's
at that point.
cool. But it seems a little bit different. Like, I don't know if you even, I mean, maybe the user interface maybe is similar to like a Facebook or something like that. I don't know. I haven't
Yeah.
seen it yet, but it
Yeah.
seems more like the way that, for example, my clientele interact with each other. I teach a few classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and all the clients know each other.
Yeah.
And it seems almost more like that. It's like this small group of people, and Darian's the sort of the greeter. You bring
Yeah.
everyone on, and it seems more like that, which I think is very, it's going to grow obviously, but I think that's a great way to
Yeah.
start. And you establish a culture of relationships that are deeper than just the typical online, like, I'm going to throw a few words at you and then a few words at you, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it sounds like I agree with you. Like, to go slow and kind of organically build this seems like a good idea.
Yeah. I think I've just learned from what my experience of being on social media. And every time like I would start like an Instagram page or Twitter, I always felt dirty about it. I was like, and I would go for a month or two and then I would just delete it.
Right,
And
right.
like and then I just got rid of all of it except for LinkedIn, because I felt like it was similar to what we're doing. I was like,
Yeah,
okay, this seems like it's professional media and
yeah,
you don't
yeah.
get the same thing. So I was like, I'll keep this because I feel like some synergy. But the rest of it, for me personally, I felt like didn't speak to the type of experience that I wanted. And so I feel like, and the other thing is, we're not into endless growth. We are going to be capping the membership. This will not
Nice.
be an endless thing. And I think that's another differentiating thing. I think the desire for more all the time clouds our judgment. And it's like, there's a limit to how much we're going to make with this, or what we're going to
Yeah.
do. And then it's
I
going to stop.
as it's so funny, as you were saying that, I was thinking of the word scale. And I was thinking, like, this is not something that you want to endlessly scale.
I don't want to scale it.
Like Facebook brags that they have like 2 billion users. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, I'm going to talk to what?
So
Like,
what?
yeah, who cares? Like, I really don't care who's on Facebook. I don't want to know everybody in the world. That's just not my
No,
goal.
and you can't know everybody in the world. And
No.
and then the creators become segmented from the users, and all of a sudden you don't know really most of the people on there. You're just like, hey, as long as the shareholders are happy and everybody's good, they
Right,
don't
right.
know who's actually coming on there every day. Like
Mm-mm.
they're just like, whatever, keep coming.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I know. I think that's a good idea to cap it. That's awesome.
yeah.
Wow, very cool project. So yeah, I definitely, hopefully there's more room by the time this, by whoever's watching this watches the episode, and you
Yeah.
still have room.
There'll be
And
plenty of room. It's gonna be, and we got a ways to go to the cap, but I think somebody asked me, and I said, I think we're gonna cap it at like 3,000 people.
yeah,
I was
sounds
like,
good.
and they were like, oh my gosh, that's really small. I was like, yeah, but I think it's better that way. And that way, if
That's
somebody
the
wants
point.
to join, yeah, we tell them, hey, sorry, we have no more slots available. And if somebody decides to cancel their membership, we'll have you come in.
Have like a waiting
Just
list
the
going on.
opposite. I want the opposite of what I'm getting currently.
I think it sounds like you're doing a good job with this one. This sounds like it's the
Yeah.
opposite of Facebook.
Yeah. And you know what? It just functions literally. Like the interface is nothing special. It's not like it's this big fancy thing. I call it kind of like the Atari of Facebook, of internet and stuff. It's like, it's really simple. And I think we need to get back to simple things, not create all this crazy stuff. It's kind of like fitness. If you're creating all these crazy exercises and stuff just to make it look cool, it's like, okay, it's really simple. A stimulus response, recovery. It's like, let's keep it simple here. What's the load? What's
Right,
the
right.
variables?
It's so funny. I used to do that. I used to be so proud. Oh, I have so many exercises. And then I was like, they don't care. Like, one,
don't
clients don't
care.
care. It doesn't make it any better. It's just entertaining to me because I'm doing the same workout for Johnny and for Darian and for
Yeah,
Billy. And it's the same workout and I'm getting bored. So I'm trying to spice it up a little bit, but
yeah,
they don't need that. They really don't need that.
yeah.
So that sounds good. That sounds really good. I know the first time we talked, you were saying how you've been doing this 21 years, like you said, and you have like a
Hmm.
pretty consistent clientele,
Yeah,
and there's not a lot of movement, and you're kind of maxed out with all that. And so you do your podcast kind of for that fulfillment. And it sounds
yeah,
like this social media project was a labor of love as well,
yeah,
and kind of putting out what you want to see in the world, which is a more polite, more kind of emulating the real world type of social
yeah.
media. And it sounds like you're doing it. So that's fantastic. I think this is going to be awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I just, I want to have consistency in my in everything that I do. If
Yeah.
I meet Chris, I know you for several years or so, and I want you to be like, okay, I can trust Darian. Like he's not going to become like this crazy guy over time,
Right.
get radicalized or something. I'm like, hey, me, I'm going to be consistently, hopefully, a good person to you, and reach out and say hello, and be nice. And I want everything that I'm involved in to have that same tone, that same feel. And I don't
Yeah.
want to be afraid to like do the opposite of what's happening out there. And I just got tired of complaining. I'm like, you know what? I like creating new businesses. And if nothing really happens, at least I tried something. I did something about it, at least. It's like, how many more reports do we need that all this stuff makes people depressed, and that that people are getting angry at each other? I'm like, well, let's just do something about it.
I know that's pretty crazy. And if you think, like, again, going back to my premise that social media should emulate real life,
Yeah.
it's like, it'd be almost like saying like, hey, talking to people will make you depressed. And it like, wait, what?
What?
It really doesn't, because the more social interaction you have, the better.
Right.
But again, it's like that being able to hide behind this veil of your computer, and you can just like
Right.
troll somebody and type in your comments and not suffer any social consequences.
Right.
Not consequences like we're going to cut off your hand or something. But if you walk into a room and say a mean comment to somebody, It's going to be embarrassing. You're going to have other people calling you
Yeah.
out like, hey, that was unnecessary. Why did you do that?
Right. Right.
But that doesn't always happen on social media. And even if it does, you can just, like you said, you can delete your account, you can ignore it.
Yeah.
It's really, it really doesn't emulate, Facebook real life, Instagram real life. They really don't match up very well.
No, it doesn't match up really well. And on our side, we tell people like, listen, if you're having a bad day, or that's the section of feels. If you feel terrible, just talk about it. Like, you don't feel good. It's okay. You don't have to project this reality that is not your actual reality. I mean, no one is happy constantly. Like, it's like
Except
you
on their
have bad
Instagram
days.
page.
Yeah, except and then it's exhausting. Like,
Right.
when I was on Instagram and I would go through it, I'd be like, I can't believe people constantly taking videos of themselves literally every second of the day. I'm like,
It's
that
it's got
must
to
be
be such a
exhausting.
full-time job. I
Yeah.
look at them too. I'm like, how do you do it, and why? Like,
Why?
it seems just like you're looking for validation externally,
Yeah.
and I mean, I know why. I mean, they're looking for external
Sure.
validation, and they're not filling themselves up internally. But isn't it interesting that your website, you're gearing it toward being honest and transparent, and you might have people being like, I feel like crap today, you guys. I
Yeah.
had a horrible day,
Yeah.
yet leaving that experience and feeling more filled up versus the Instagrams, and everyone looks like a shiny happy person,
Hmm.
yet not feeling filled up. So it's almost like you have these polar opposites of what the appearance is versus what the actual reality is internally, the feeling space, right? How our
Yeah.
lives are actually going.
Yeah. How are we actually feeling? Because that's what I do with my clients. How are you feeling today? What are you willing to give me today? You're not feeling great. Okay, we're going to modify based off of how you're feeling, and I want that. I want to live in real life. I want to use online things because I think it's an incredible invention of humans
Yeah,
that
yeah.
we have. I mean, you and I are talking to each other through this incredible
Right. We've
portal
never
at this
met,
point.
never met
I
in
mean,
person, right?
right?
Yeah, it's
Right? But how
amazing.
amazing. We have
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
So it's not evil, but it's like people tend to turn things into weird situations.
Right.
And I feel like it's just the people create these things, they're preying on people on their desire for validation and to be wanted and to be desired. And then you add an algorithm in it, you have recommendations, you're taking away people's choice sometimes, or you're persuading them to just keep being on something and ignore their family members. Like, that's not good.
That's not good at all. And then you have the algorithms, like you said, that are basically showing you one side. I don't like taking sides,
Yes.
but and so there's that echo chamber, and then you tend to solidify your position even more, dig your heels in, us versus them. I voted for one
Yep.
of the candidates for president, but I don't care who you voted for. I'm going to be your friend. I don't,
Yeah.
it really doesn't matter that much. So I think that's great. Again, this sounds really awesome. Darian, I want to end it with a motivational speech. I want to go real big picture. This is we talked
Okay.
about very specific. Maybe zoom out and talk to people about what are some principles that you hold internally that maybe helped guide you into this new business venture, or maybe helped
Yeah.
your personal training career start. Like, what are
Sure.
some deeper things that really drive you?
Oh, that's awesome. I think, one of the bigger things is integrity is it seems like a lost word, but integrity is really important. Doing what I say I'm going to do. How do I present myself? Uh, Etiquette is really important. I think we kind of look at old things and think they're not good anymore. But I think there's a lot of
Right.
value in having etiquette and having integrity and being honest and not having self-deception for that, and being transparency is really important, I think. So for me, like in all the projects that I do, I want that people feel a sense of, I would like to connect with this person. That there also a sense of fearlessness of, like, the tide may be going this way, but this person is okay with not following all the other things. And even that the sense of like followers and gaining people and stuff, there's something about that that just feels so weird to me. It's like, I'm not your guru. I'm not this person. I'm just another person like you. And I want to take care of my family. I want to have great experiences in life. I want to have a great time. I want to cry. I want to laugh. I want to experience the huge gamut of emotions that life has to offer. And in order to do that, you have to let yourself be open to all the experiences that life has to offer. And so whether any of my projects succeed or fail, it's okay. I gave it an effort. I at least put myself out there. And I think that's a big lesson is you may try and you may fail, but it's okay. So I think we're almost sometimes in a coach where it's like, yeah, we're going to do all these startups and we're going to become the next unicorn and stuff. I'm like, I'm not interested. I'm just interested in trying to see where I could take myself and how I could help other people in that journey. So.
Yeah, very well said. Yeah, it's more about personal fulfillment and what you can accomplish, and as opposed to, like you said, scaling up your followers or whatever other outside metrics you have. Darian, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, what's your website and what's your LinkedIn? Because I know that's the only social media you have.
Yep,
other
that's
than
it, baby.
Your own platform.
Well, my website is drdarianparker.com. So you spell doctor out fully on there, drdarianparker.com. And then email address, which is darianparker@gmail.com. And then my LinkedIn is, I believe it's like the linkedin.com/IN/Darian Parker. So I'm pretty easy to find. Although there is someone else on there that is Dr. Darian Parker, everybody mistakes us because we look similar. Yeah. It's weird, actually. Well, but I am not the dude from New York City. Okay.
You're still in Washington, right?
I'm in Washington State, man.
Nice. Okay. A little bit. You got 3,000 miles between you and New York City.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a nice guy. I've talked to him before, actually. Funny,
you guys should meet one day and do like a podcast together.
How crazy.
The Darians, the Dr. Darian Parker and Dr. Darian Parker.
The doctor's Darian.
The doctor's Darian. There you go.
That'll be funny. Thank you, Chris, for your time.
Hey, thank you so much, Darian. I appreciate you joining me today on Health in the Real World.
Thanks for listening to the Health in the Real World show. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below. Visit mycorebalance.com to learn more.